You survive the craving. But do you still wake up hollow? That quiet, echoing question. Now that I'm sober, what is my life for? Many call it the after-addiction void. Freedom without meaning. The brain is calm, yet the heart feels empty. Carl Jung warned that healing the wound is only half the journey. Without spiritual awakening, the shadow creeps back to fill the silence. In this video, you'll learn how to trade that emptiness for purpose, how awe resets the dopamine loop, how daily silence roots the soul, and why serving one person can anchor your own freedom. Stay with me, and let's turn survival into a life that finally feels worth living. The cravings are quieter now, but mornings still feel blank. You ask, what is my life purpose? And no answer echoes back. This emptiness is common after detox, yet it can become post-traumatic growth if you know where to look. Jung called it individuation, the stage where you rebuild identity on truth, not survival. Think of it as Carl Jung individuation for the modern world. Finding purpose after addiction. Start small, noticing one thing that stirs gratitude, awe, or curiosity. Each spark helps you create meaning in life instead of chasing it. That shift is the heart of spiritual awakening recovery, moving from how do I stay sober to how to feel fulfilled. Healing isn't finished until you can turn pain into purpose, using your story to guide someone still lost. That's real healing after trauma, and it fuses recovery and spirituality into a single unstoppable force. Staying sober was step one. Giving back in recovery is step two. The wound you've stitched now becomes thread for others still torn. Research shows altruism and well-being rise together. The brain releases oxytocin when we lift another. Start small. Text someone struggling, offer to be their sober companion for the day. That simple act is service work addiction, turning what once hurt you into a tool for helping others heal. Join a peer support community or volunteer for mental health hotlines. Each hour spent is proof you can find purpose through service instead of substances. If you follow 12-step wisdom, this is making amends. But even outside that framework, lifting one soul lifts two. Soon, you'll guide someone as informal recovery sponsorship. And in that mirror, you'll see it. Survival has transformed into service, and meaning is no longer a theory. It's your daily practice. You've moved from pain to purpose. Now, you need anchors. Think of these as 3 unbreakable ropes that keep your meaning-centered life steady in any storm. Pillar 1. Self-compassion ritual. Every dawn, stand before a mirror, hand on heart. Speak one gentle sentence. I choose progress over perfection. This 30-second self-compassion ritual calms the inner critic and sets a tone of kindness. Pillar 2. Daily silence. 5 minutes of daily meditation practice. No apps, no guides, just breath. Start with simple morning breath work. In 4, hold 2, out 6. Over weeks, this mindful recovery routine quiets the limbic alarm that once triggered cravings. Add a 3-line gratitude practice habit right after. Something you saw, something you felt, someone you love. Gratitude boosts dopamine naturally, without sabotage. Pillar 3. Creative offering. Pain transmuted becomes art. Pick a creative healing exercise. Sketch, drum, write a haiku, 10 minutes daily. Log it in a journal for self-reflection. And mark an X on your purpose habit tracking calendar. This simple spiritual discipline proves to your brain that meaning is produced, not hunted. Wrap these pillars around each day, and recovery shifts from maintenance to momentum. Because a life fed by compassion, silence, and creativity rarely grows hungry for its old escape. Ever stand beneath a thunder-pink sunrise and feel small but safe? That rush is awe therapy in real life, a natural high feeling no substance can rival. Neuroscientists have mapped it. Moments of wonder trigger an oxytocin release that softens fear circuits and sparks a gentle dopamine reset. Consistent exposure builds neuroplasticity recovery, wiring new pathways that prefer beauty over binge. Think of awe as a spiritual experience the brain can measure. In studies on awe and addiction, just 5 minutes of skywatching or cathedral music reduced craving intensity by nearly 40%. Try a mindful awe practice. Step outside at dusk. Notice color gradients. Exhale slowly, naming one detail that stirs gratitude. Repeat daily. These micro moments act as brain rewiring techniques, teaching your nervous system that healing through nature is faster and richer than any chemical shortcut. Awe shrinks the ego, widens perspective, and reminds the wound it belongs to something vast and still unfolding. Meet Javier, 41, a recovered alcoholic testimony you won't forget. His recovery story started in a detox ward, but his true change began on a fog-lit cliff at sunrise. 6 months sober, he still felt empty. One dawn, he drove to the coast, desperate for anything beyond routine. Fog parted, sun ignited the horizon, waves thundered in gold. Tears, first in years, surfaced. That moment of awe became his spiritual awakening story. Each day after, Javier repeated the ritual: sunrise, breath, gratitude. He added our 3 pillars: mirror compassion, 5 minutes silence, 10 minutes sketch. Within weeks, the morning view framed a post-traumatic growth story. Chest loosened, cravings dulled. He began finding purpose after addiction, volunteering as a peer support driver, sharing a real-life recovery talk at the shelter he once slept outside. A year later, he mentors others, proof that life after addiction is a transformation journey, not a sentence. Javier's healing success story shows one thing: when you feed the wound meaning, it stops feeding on you. Ready to turn insight into muscle memory? Commit to this 7-day recovery challenge. No apps, no payment, just practice. Day 1, sunrise meditation. Wake with the light. 3 minutes of stillness. Listen for birds, traffic, your own breath. This resets cortisol rhythm and begins your dopamine daily reset. Day 2, mindful breathing routine. 4/2/6 count. 5 rounds before coffee. Feel the ribcage widen. Note any tight spots. Day 3, daily gratitude exercise. Write 3 sentences. 1 sight, 1 feeling, 1 person. Read them aloud. Anchor positivity. Day 4, creative expression therapy. Sketch, hum, journal a poem. 10 minutes. Creation rewires neural reward circuits, replacing old highs. Day 5, service act checklist. Hold a door. Text encouragement. Buy a stranger coffee. Small altruism spikes oxytocin. Meaning expands outward. Day 6, habit tracker for recovery. Print a calendar. Mark an X for every pillar you practice. Visual proof fuels momentum. Day 7, spiritual growth plan. Review the week. Which exercise lit you up? Commit to that as a meaningful living habit. For the next 30 days, 7 simple days, 1 rewired life. Freedom isn't a miracle. It's a routine. Up next, the closing reflection that stitches this entire journey into forever purpose. Pause. Let the week settle. Feel the quiet space your old craving once filled. That emptiness isn't loss. its new capacity for meaning. Look back. You mapped the wound, rewired the loop, served another soul. That's not just recovery. It's a spiritual awakening in motion. Now, widen the circle. Share one sentence of your new purpose in the comments. Your courage could spark someone else's start. Subscribe and ring the bell. This channel is your recovery community. We'll keep posting tools for meaningful living habits so the journey never stalls. Remember, freedom is a practice. Breathe, create, serve, and watch your life become the medicine you once searched for.